Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on what time zone you're watching in. I am your host, Dave Prime. Welcome to Technically Trek episode number 97. We're getting that much closer to the big triple digits of episode 100, which we're at the end of the month. But yeah, unfortunately, Katie, my regular host, co-host, is busy doing things, so got Travis over there filling in tonight again. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty great and all and everything else, except for this nasty weather that we've been having here on the East Coast for most of the eastern part of the United, all the way down to Florida too. We just
Mm.
haven't had some. We just been having some terrible weather for the last week or so, and unfortunately, the groundhog, that little bastard, is predicting that we're going to experience, what's that, 6 more weeks of winter. And
Mm.
somebody on Facebook said it's time to roast that little fucker. Excuse my language.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the weather's been kind of wonky. I say I don't know why I just kept my scarf on, but I figured it's comfy. I like this scarf, so.
I
But
like it. It's nice on you.
yeah, it's grown on me. It's already getting close to soccer slash football if you're talking to Katie season again. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
speaking
yeah.
about like American football, my Seahawks are playing for the Super Bowl on Sunday. So,
And they going
yeah.
against my Patriots. I know right now Seattle is on odds to win, but I got high hopes for my Patriots. They've been
Uh,
kind of the underdog, a little bit of underdog in the playoffs and stuff.
well,
I didn't really like how they played a couple of weeks ago and stuff. I was just like, it just didn't seem to me that they play well. They didn't play to their strength, and it seemed like
hmm.
they was playing. They was holding back, and I wasn't really feeling that they was really in it. They was in it, but not to the point where they hunger for it.
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean
But
the weather on that Sunday in Denver, it went south in a hurry. So
yes,
it
yes,
just it
it
was
really did. It really did. The Broncos, they played decent stuff, but I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, neither team has really scored. I mean, Patriots it was a 10. Patriots scored 10, and Broncos only scored once, was 7
7,
points,
yeah.
and that was it, and
Oh,
that was the end
excuse
of the
me.
game.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. 20 years ago was Seattle's first Super Bowl appearance where a lot of Seahawks fans complained that it being played in Detroit that Pittsburgh had an unfair home field advantage. But here we are, it's being played in San Francisco or Santa Clara. And say so Seattle's got a little bit of a home field advantage-ish going on there, but just to have
Yeah.
it in the 49ers stadium, I can't help but laugh.
Real quick, Dave, before we
Yes.
start our discussion at hand and stuff, to all our viewers and everybody, guess 2 days ago was one of our Star Trek alumni's 77th birthday on February the 2nd. You know who
Wait,
that is?
not off the top of my head. I've been so busy with house dramas, I haven't been keeping up on birthdays.
Who became beloved favorite android that
Oh,
made.
Brent Spiner.
Oh, yay! Yes, Brent Spiner. Yeah, Brent Spiner
Yeah,
is
I was
77.
back of my head. I was thinking Brent, but yeah,
He's
what
he celebrated his 77th birthday.
right on. Well, surprisingly, there's someone in France that's still going to have some birthdays because there was a funny story that had popped up on my Facebook a couple of days ago where a hospital was evacuated because this individual had a World War I artillery art bomb up his
I know what
butt.
you're talking about because I heard this story. I heard the story on my drive, like on in the morning news. Well, the people I listen to, in the morning. Well, not the morning news, but the people who I listen to when I'm driving to work. They told a story about the freak guy who shoved a World War I grenade.
No, it was an artillery shell. It's like 8 inches
Oh,
long. So it was
oh,
it
an
was a
8 inch.
sizable. Yeah, it was eight
Okay,
inches.
so he had a he. 8-inch artillery shell up
Uh,
his, you know, what would you call
hoo-ha,
what
his
would you
poo
call
hole.
yeah. I was gonna say exhaust pipe.
Yeah, a tailpipe or but the funny the to make the story even more amusing is the fact that this is not the first time something that's happened in France. Back in 2022, an 88-year-old man had to they had to cut open his abdomen because he too had a bomb up his butt. It's like, what? I mean, what floats your boat, but to put a live ordnance up your hoo-ha? It's like, what the what?
I guess you could say it was an explosive idea.
Say even Zach is saying that yeah, the Patriots are going to get annihilated.
Yeah, I saw him with everything. Hey, Zach, I ignore you. You leave me alone about that. Go Pats.
Yeah, saying as long as well, we know for one thing, if the Seahawks get to the Patriots 1 yard line, they're
Oh,
not going to run the ball.
no, it's
They
not. I,
lose.
I know, I know, I know. There's not gonna be no mistakes made that happened. Like, was that about 10 years ago or so?
Nine,
Nothing like that.
19 or 11 years ago.
11 years ago,
Yeah,
yeah,
Super Bowl
11 years ago.
49, so 11 years
Yeah,
ago. So,
yeah.
but four times in 20 years, is it a dynasty? No, but based on what Seattle's done this season, I mean, if they can duplicate what they did this year, next year, it could be the start of something great for Seattle. So now we just got to get the Mavericks to make it to the World Series. Sorry.
No, we got people who are wanting to hear us talk about, Star
Yeah,
Trek, especially the latest of it.
the best episode of the season so far, in my opinion. I know I've been I mean, the first episode was pretty good because we had Paul Giamatti, and I mean, he seemed to be like a real badass, but all of a sudden, he's supposed to be the antagonist of the season. Where the heck is he? But
Laying low, laying low, laying low.
yep.
They're gonna come out swinging when he comes back.
Oh, hopefully, but sorry, I might have to get something to drink here. Speaking of drinks, W, my partner in crime with the podcast and whatnot, they do have a lot of great flavors for people to try out, from Grandpa's Denture water to the now limited edition s'mores, which you mix with milk. They got a lot of great options available. But if you go online to w.gg, and I mean, if you're cramming for a test, if you're playing a game, you just need that extra bump without the crash that a lot of energy drinks get. If you go to w.gg, I just got to slow down sometimes, and use the code TECHTREK, TEKTREK, you get 10% off any non-licensed product. So there's a couple of exclusive contracts with uh, Chainsaw Man and Solo Leveling, which yeah, they can't give a discount on those, but pretty much everything else is fair game. 10% off. Tech Trek, w.gg. Give them a try, and you won't be disappointed because I got a couple of flavors back there that are really good. They even have non-caffeinated products because that last thing some people need is more caffeine in their system. But say like
Never
Katie with
overdo
her
it.
insomnia, that's the last thing that she needs. So say the hydro products are a great option for even her to try out. But tonight, we're talking Klingons.
Don't forget this real quick too, Dave, that if you
You
guys anybody want to join us tonight, you know, you are welcome to join us. There's a link down below in the description. If
the
description
YouTube
that
description.
you can click on that and you can join us. But if you are a little shy and camera shy, just like you just kind of want to hang back and everything, audio, you can come talk to us audio and stuff and everything else, or you can participate in chat and everything. But all in all, we welcome everybody's participation. We are one of the few channels that offer live interactive with people, with all of us and stuff, even the host, the special guest co-host, myself and everything. But you can actually chat with us and stuff.
Oh yeah, well you can chat with all of them in the YouTube description, but yeah, this gives you
Mhm.
you can put a face on it because a lot of cases when you type something on it, when you put the fingers to the keyboard, we don't know your vocal inflection. You could be totally sarcastic, you could be absolutely serious. We can't always tell the difference. Being on camera, being on audio, we can tell. So we got about 7 slots available right now for you to try out. Say hop in, say hi. But if you like I said, if you're camera shy, if you're bashful, the chat I'm sure will be lighting up here eventually. But yeah, saying Vox in Excelso, I think that's how you pronounce that word.
It's Latin, yeah.
Yeah, saying it's not the first time they used Vox in the title either. So they had the Vox is the penultimate episode of Star Trek Picard, which was three
Yes.
years ago now. That
Oh,
when season
wow.
three, yeah. So we've come a
Wow, 3
long
years.
way. Well, it just kind of
One
says
of
how
the
long we've
best
been.
it's one of the best, Star Trek, since, the past Rick Berman era.
Hmm.
The Rick Berman stuff and everything since the Star Trek became up. I think Star Trek Picard season 3 was probably, it was one of my favorites to see, you know, the possibility of what happened after all the shows did their runtime and stuff. I like seeing where they took like where we gonna go with this and stuff and everything. But oh no,
Yeah.
but
So we got Zach backstage chomping at the bit. So I'm going to bring him on. How's it going, man?
Zach, you muted there.
I give Picard season 3 a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
11 out of
absolutely.
10 actually. Yeah. I also want to say go Pats because the Super Bowl is nothing without the Patriots, and that is my team, baby. So
Well,
Okay,
and
we're still
I
getting
did.
annihilated.
But no, just I doubt he's watched, but I do got to give a shout out to Jimmy Ferris. He's a kid, well, a kid. Say he was about a year behind me in high school. He played football. He was part of the championship high school football team, which took the first state title in my high school's history to come home with the
wow.
title. He played for the Patriots one of the Super Bowl years, and he's got a ring for it, even though he didn't get any game time. But yeah, he was still
Oh
part of the
yeah,
team, so he
okay,
got credit for it. So
all right.
Super Bowl ring, man.
oh yeah,
Yeah, super right.
That's
yeah,
all that
saying so.
matters.
Yeah, all that matters.
And
It's a
the bonus.
whole. Oh yeah, and Sam Darnold, he's been getting bonus after bonus after bonus with this season that he's been having with Seattle. So it's going to be great. But enough football talk. Say, let's talk Star Trek. We're talking Klingons. Saying apparently, we learned a lot about what happened to the Klingons during and after the burn. That it just essentially some tie-ins with what happened in Star Trek 6 when Praxis exploded. They were on the verge of extinction at that point, so the Federation stepped in, offered some help. They accepted the help. But now with what happened during the burn, that's essentially just annihilated the Chronos, which the one the one the one tweak that kind of bugged me with this episode is that we're getting different pronunciations of Chronos and Kalis again.
Yep.
Say it's say next generation did the same. Kalis and Kalish. They're just like "No." And when they actually the news reporter said Chronos properly, but everyone else is saying Chronos, and it's like.
Yeah,
Eh.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I I
yeah.
yeah, from a production standpoint, that kinda tweaked me just maybe just a little bit. But other than that, this was a good episode. Saying it kind of put Jaden at odds in more ways than one. We say with we learn a lot more about probably what happened post burn that I think they called it a triad. He's got two dads and a mom. Saying so I thought that was kind of an interesting
Their
little
houses,
new.
their houses are built after from where we stood at the 24th, 25th century and stuff like that. It was a one house thing, and then somewhere in I don't know how far this the
The
future and stuff
800
like that.
years.
They became more of a triad house and stuff and everything. For some reason, just like how Klingons, you know, end up, I guess befriending and having, Jem'Hadar babies and stuff and everything.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things like, what? Okay,
wait,
but
Gemma
Oh,
you know,
Dark can have babies? That's
I,
scary.
I, I'm at a loss too. No, this show started.
I'm confused.
Well, let's take a side note to that. Let's start with the beginning where we got what's that, the Athena in space and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is how they're gonna do. They're gonna take the academies on a field trip. I was thinking, oh, this is a field trip. Here we go. We're in space and stuff and everything. So, the captain doing her log
Mhm.
entry and everything else and stuff, and
well,
you
it's
get
not
this
more of a
thing.
log. It's more of a recording of an address that she's given to the cadets. So
Yeah, so you would say, yeah. Uh, but then you get this when you start seeing the doctor in the debate class and stuff and everything, and well, debate, whatever and stuff what they want to call it and stuff. I was like, okay, so this is what this episode's gonna be about, debating and stuff and everything. You got one you know, who's the advocate, and then the other one is the adversarial and stuff and everything, the pros and cons, whatever stuff of the topic at hand and stuff. And somehow because they was more focused on Jaden and stuff, I was like, this is they want there's something's going to happen. Something is going to be revealed in his past about the Klingons, as you just pointed out just a short time ago, about the history and stuff and everything else, about like what happened to this the warrior race that was had a huge empire, that was respected and feared, among one of the powerful species in that part of the galaxy and stuff and everything. Just like others, they succumb to the burn and stuff. So we
yeah,
seen
the bird just decimated the Klingon Empire.
it really, and you know what? I really like how they, especially because I was watching earlier Trek Culture with Sean Ferrick,
Sean,
and he really said it too when it comes to the Romulans. It happened to the Romulans, with the supernova. And then, you seen this great empire, that was, somewhat respected, but more feared, and stuff. And, these adversaries of the Federation, they had at their point was at their height, they was really great, but then something they fell wrong to something that happened, you know, cataclysmic and stuff, and it almost decimated them, especially the Klingons in the 800 years, in the future and stuff from the time I guess the 25th century, you could say the late 24th and 25th century that we know of, and it shows too that this individual Jaden, it had a really effect on not just him, but like how he thinks and stuff. Like Sean Ferrick put it in such words and stuff and everything else. He wasn't like a atypical, Klingon that we knew of, from the days in 24th, 25th, 22nd century stuff and everything else. He basically wanted to be what they call a healer, a doctor and stuff and everything. And Klingons didn't so much frown upon that. They just kind of be like, look, we need people, to bound our warriors when they're wounded and stuff and everything, but yet you still have to act and be Klingon and stuff and everything. And we saw this, his past with, his father, I should say fathers, and then his brother.
hmm
We got his backstory with his brother and stuff and everything. But in the debate stuff and everything else, Caleb actually impressed me. He actually impressed me because he's kind of almost like he's like what I like myself. He takes a more tactical, you know thinking, facts, you know your stuff.
Analytical.
He managed, because that's how he survived. He said he survived in prison and other stuff and everything else, because he has to know he has to know things. Oh, you can physically you can do things, stuff like that, but yet if you know laws, if you know rules, if knowledge, basically knowledge is power. Facts does matter. Especially
Hmm.
in this day and age.
Yeah.
But you know, Jaden was impressed at just how he was able to, you know, just boom, boom, boom with, which every time, when they was like, practicing the debater, or as he said, master debater. That was a
Yeah. Yeah, it's
uh,
a
it,
which
it was
which
it- go ahead.
which one thing is at the very start of the episode when the doctor was quoting Sati, he kind of
Yes.
abridged that quote a little too much, in my opinion, and I've
I
seen a lot of
thought so.
flack online about that because I mean he chopped the most important part off because I mean when Picard gave that speech, that just really ruffled his daughter's feathers. It's like, how dare you use my father's words? Blah.
Oh, she was she was annoyed. Admiral
Oh,
Sati at that time, she was annoyed with Picard and stuff.
she was in set in said I can't pronounce the word. She was pissed.
Yeah, she was very she was pissed and stuff and everything. And you know what? She said that her father always did that between her and her brothers. You
Hmm.
know, when
Yeah,
just like how
the for and against, just like yeah,
but he basically knew when to say, "Hey, we need to take a breath." When we need to take a step back and think and analyze everything that everybody's discussing and stuff back and forth and everything else. And I really like that because it really struck well with this particular episode. Because it really showed that Starfleet, of course, we know Starfleet isn't just about like weapons, ships, and everything else, and fight battles and everything else. Diplomacy, and how do diplomats work with other I should say adversaries, species that are hostile to you and stuff like that. You learn to debate. You learn to you know sit, listen. You know come back with your own, lot. You without people dying, you debate, and this was a good way of showing the cadets, a way of taking the adversarial view versus pro view and stuff, which I thought it was pretty cool. Zach,
mm.
you know, what you think about this particular episode?
Oh, I have no opinion. I'm getting the episode right now. You are you are the entertainment, man.
Yeah,
We
I
are the
don't watch
entertainment.
TV much, man. I haven't. I have. I haven't had a chance to sit down and just.
It
I
was
don't
a
know.
really well. This episode was it was pretty decent and stuff. I mean,
Sounds.
like
It sounds interesting.
like Dave said, it was probably his best one yet and everything because it was more of a teaching. In the role, it,
Hmm.
it was more of a teaching of the Klingons they are a proud people. We all know the Klingons are a proud people. And it gets to the crux of, you know, when do you a proud people like the Klingons or Klingon warriors and stuff like that, they do not ask for handouts. They do not ask for help. You know, to do so in their eyes, it shows a sign of weakness among their adversaries. You know, Klingons basically they are conquerors. They do not ask for help and everything because they're conquerors. Conquerors do not ask for any kind of assistance when it comes to anything. People are looking
yeah,
for them for help.
yeah. Saying
What you
yeah,
say?
asking for help is a sign of weakness. I swear that I'm sure that was a quote that from some Star Trek episode at one point. Got almost 60 years to try and figure out which that episode was.
But and
But
then
is
too,
asking help really a weakness?
in the Klingons' eyes, yes.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the Klingon. Yeah.
In the Klingons, because you know, even though after the burn and stuff, the Federation offered help and everything else. And you know, one thing, even I learned this about a Klingon, and I learned this because I remember with Cisco in the Way of the Warriors. I remember when Cisco was dealing with the Klingons when they was at Deep Space Nine. No one know why is this huge Klingon armada at Deep Space Nine and stuff. And
Hmm.
he wasn't getting no answers from the Klingons or General Motog. And he said Curzon always said the only ones that know how to truly deal with the Klingons are
Our
Klingons.
Klingon. Say,
You know,
command.
so you look at that. Klingons are a very stubborn and very stubborn species.
Mm.
They don't ask for help, and even though in this particular episode the Federation found a planet that was identical with size, radiogenic properties, just everything that Kronos was. Hey, Dylan, that Kronos was. They just can't give it to the Klingons. They wanted to offer the Klingons, but the Klingons basically. And who was the new head of the Klingon people?
Obel.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. He basically even said, he basically was talking because he had a rapport with uh
Okay.
yeah, that they can't accept that kind of help and stuff and everything. That's just not who they are. They always, find a way to, literally do things on their own, even though almost going to mean at their extinction and stuff and everything else. They was going to find little ways and stuff and everything. It's like they will not.
Well,
They will not ask for help, and you can't. And two, they was this episode too, Zach. They was trying to, in a sense, like Caleb and the rest of them was saying, well, we should just help them. They should just accept our help, and we need to force our help upon them and stuff.
No, you can't do
Basically,
that.
they was taking the thing about like kind of almost there was a kind of little conspiracy theorist that made a little argument in the episode. I haven't seen it since the other day and stuff, but I was like, oh, he really did take a little conspiracy theory jab at Jaden about why Kronos blew up or whatever and stuff, what happened and stuff. But yet, needs to say, the cadets were for helping the Klingons, whereas Jaden was like, we do not want help. Even though he's in Starfleet, he was saying to them as Klingons, we do not accept outside help.
I mean, and you got to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless you want a war.
yeah.
And that, and I mean, you got implications of the Prime Directive as well.
Yeah, but then like Caleb was just like, screw the Prime Directive. We need to help these people. Yeah, yeah, Dylan. Yeah, she's still taking a break. She's not feeling well this week, and she's got a commitment next week. So Travis is going to be filling it, but she will. I made a point to drill it into her, just like, you better not miss episode 100 at the end of the month.
Please, I hope nobody's discouraged that I am just here for a short bit and everything else.
Oh, so
Katie will be back.
you've been a great backup. It's greatly appreciated, Travis.
I
I just
appreciate
love
it.
Katie more.
Well, don't we all? Don't we all, Zach?
That's fair.
Yeah, we miss her ditziness. We miss the Bat Katie when her camera flips her around and stuff. So hopefully we can get. Maybe we should set up a small like GoFundMe just for her to get some better equipment for the podcast.
Oh, Katie, we'll beam it over there to you. But
Yeah, so
something too. This in the episode too. it really
Excellent.
it really highlighted some things too, that how what they was talking about in this particular episode kind of has some real world effects too, like implication, I should say, real world
Oh yeah.
implication and stuff. And I was watching when I was watching earlier, Sean Fair Trek Culture. Y'all should check that out. Sean Fair Trek Culture. I really like that. It's a really good,
Yeah, see,
show here.
I've usually been pretty good about watching the ups and downs of the episode before going online here in case I missed something.
Yes, yeah. When they,
Oh my
oh,
God.
oh!
Hey, stranger.
Hello.
Holy shit!
So
Wait,
sorry to drop in
wait.
on you like this.
Is it him or is it AI?
It's AI. It's AI. That's not really Tyson.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
You sound
That's
like Donald Trump now.
actually. I don't know.
That's
That's actually a Sudanese woman with a green screen.
with a cat filter. I originally wanted to join on my phone so I could take you outside and see what's happening. Giant trench dug here. They're putting in new plumbing, new propane tank and everything, and it's just for the last several weeks it's just been noisy and loud, and my days they can't work during the day because I'm at work during the day and they can't be making it, so they work in the evening, and now it's just been crazy couple of weeks. Dave, I did try to send you some pictures on my phone, but it said I was blocked, so I guess I'm
I got a new phone number. I'll text
oh,
you.
okay, that's why. Because it was like not delivered. I'm like, oh, Dave isn't even talking to me anymore. Well, you'll put it in the private chat. Don't put it out in the universe.
Well, let's see. I can just text it to you too, but
Okay.
Welcome, Phil. Are you able to? Because I see Phil in the live chat. Are you able to? Are you able to hit the link down in the description?
yeah, the YouTube description there should just be the link goes right to it.
Technical difficulties, everybody.
Okay, yeah,
There
it
he
is.
is.
Hey, Phil.
Yep, there we go. Hey. Oh,
Hello.
hold on, let me turn down off the other
Alex
monitor
Marty.
here. There we go. I can turn the other one off there.
Welcome,
All set. Thank you.
welcome everybody. Welcome Tyson. Welcome back. Welcome Phil. We glad to see y'all
What?
faces and all and everything else. Oh goodness, it's been a hot minute. Tyson, you have missed so. I hope you've been watching. I hope you've been watching. We have had some really good show. Zach had a guest on with us a few weeks ago, and we hoping to bring him back because he has some
Well,
really
we'll be bringing it
interesting
back.
things.
You would
Yeah,
enjoy
I did,
William Tyson.
and I see that you've been covering the new Starfleet Academies, because I did watch a few episodes,
Yeah,
and
well,
I
there's
love
only
that.
been a few episodes.
So
But
I mean, just really quick. I know I've been gone for a while, and again, apologies. A lot of construction. It may be another couple weeks before I'm able to join. Hopefully, the stuff gets done quick. It sucks living in a motorhome. Let me just say that. This is not. Let me walk that back a little bit. Love Bob and Phyllis, the owners that gave me this beautiful place. Rent is really inexpensive, and they pay the bills. So, I can't bitch about that. I'm just saying, for somebody who's grown up in a house and used to having rooms and being able to, I've got one room. This
I
fits.
love it. I always thought of like living in like a tiny home or a small mobile home.
Yes,
well,
I see
that would be
you're sharing a
Tyson's.
space with Leonard Nimoy.
it's very
Yes,
sparkly.
I've got my
Spock.
little Spock right over here. Good eye. It's very small. I'm
Yeah.
glad you guys can see it.
Tyson, real quick, you know who birthday it was just a few days ago, who's 77 years old.
Who's that?
He's our favorite android.
Oh, Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a
you
little fun fact I
lies.
wanted to throw out. Yes.
That's a negative, sir. It's shoot, what's his name from I'm drawing the blank from the show. Anyways, never mind.
Smart ass
you were
comment
feeling-
retracted.
Oh,
She's 77.
But anyway, we
But
appreciate
yeah,
everybody stopping by. Tyson,
Yeah.
uh,
Thank you.
Phil, well, I'm glad you were there. Tyson, you said that did you catch this latest episode?
Me? Yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I
Phil
did.
did you, Tyson?
The latest episode of Vox and Excelso.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
for
where
some reason,
the Klingons are Starfleet wants to offer Klingons a new Kronos because Kronos has
Mm-hmm.
exploded, and it couldn't be
Yeah.
gifted, so they had to fight for it. So I believe both sides knew it was a fake fight. It was just pomp so that they could take
Pop and
it and not.
circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, and even the leader of the Klingons realized it wasn't a real fight. Nobody got hurt on either side. I mean, but it allowed them to take the planet without
spoils of war.
and maintain honor.
Yes, there you go. Yes, yes. The story was behind it about like debate, like why the Klingons should help, why the Klingons should offer. To the Federation is offering to help the Klingons. The Klingons refusing to help, and it's like some of the cadets are saying, "Well, we just discussing like." The Klingons be damned about the prime directives. They should just take our help regardless of whatever and stuff and everything. That's because they are nearing extinction. Their species is nearing extinction and stuff like that. And if they want to survive, they need they need basically charity and stuff. And we were just discussing too, Klingons are very prideful in their warrior race and stuff. And I quoted something about the way of the warrior about how Cisco told Dax that Curzon once said the only people that can deal with the Klingons are the Klingons. Basically, when they bought Warfare and stuff and everything else, because they need to get information and stuff. And Warfare is a Klingon who was in Starfleet, and the Klingons they see outside help as almost a way of saying that they have lost their way, that they don't have any way of taking care of themselves, that they can't manage, their own problems, their own house,
Right.
well, their own people and stuff, you know.
Yeah. It was, and I love the debate aspect, and
Hey,
I'm
Jim.
really loving the Doctor in here.
Yeah, which I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He still hasn't been able to
What's up,
choose a
Jim?
name after 800 years.
No, well, see, this is what gets me. In the last episode of Voyager, he did choose a name, and what was it, like Joe? It was some
Yeah.
ridiculously common name, and that's when Kate Mulgrew went back in time to bring the Voyager crew home. But he had picked a name. So what happened to that name?
Well, that was an alternate timeline that got erased when future Janeway went into the past. So
Oh, so I guess he never got married, and don't know what happened during the burn. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Doctor backstory, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm wondering if they're going to bring on any guest stars from other Trek series. Might be
well,
interesting.
there's only one Trek series that they can essentially bring back is those from Discovery, which they already got Reno in a couple episodes.
Well, there's all sorts of circumstances. There's holodecks where you could bring back characters. So let's say the Doctor wants to relive a day on Voyager, and he brings up a holodeck, and now he can be surrounded, and
Yeah.
possibly program the holodeck to age them the way he's aged himself. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things.
Yeah, see. So yeah, this episode, Jim, it is a good one yet. I'm saying it's the best of the four episodes that they played so far.
Let me put it
Or
this way: we
5
all
episodes.
saw the Enterprise D get destroyed in a movie, and yet in season 3 Picard, there it is back. So if you can bring that back to life, you can bring anything back to life. Yes, they had this whole funky explanation. Well, the star drive came from here, and we
Yeah, from
got
the
the saucer
Syracuse.
back, and blah blah blah. But didn't we? When Shax came back to life, and
It was never
um,
explained.
well, yeah, but I mean, so in Trek, anybody can come back to life. That's
Hmm.
just it.
Saying this, we all know that we like the D. I mean, The D was one of our favorite ships.
See what happened. This is okay. This is why I've avoided. I come here, it becomes R-rated. Usually, I'm the one who makes it R-rated. Travis, I got to give you props. I wish I would have seen that coming and beat you to the donkey
Well,
punch. But whatever.
say not only that, say yeah, so say we do like the fat ones.
Will not touch that with a vaccinated crowbar.
Phil,
Flip that.
so Phil, was you able to catch this episode? Because I know you said earlier you were able to catch the episode. Give us a little bit of your interpretation.
I did.
of-
You know, I was actually surprised that because I was it's reached a point where I kind of just have like I was working on something at the same time it was on, and I was kind of giving it only half my attention. But as the episode went on, I was becoming a little more involved in it. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by this when I thought this is starting to feel a little more Star Trek-ish now. It's giving the actors are now showing a little more their acting props. We got to see Klingons looking like Klingons, and a bit of their a little more you know their sort of a little more what's going on with them in this timeline of Star Trek. And so no, it was but I was especially for the guy who plays the Klingon character. I mean, I'm guessing everybody's kind of going to get their moment as the season goes on, but I thought it was really well done. I was actually really impressed. Also, in the older Klingon that showed up, who as I said, it was a point where I was kind of only paying half attention, but when he came on for a brief moment, I was kind of excited because I thought it was David Harbour playing him. I thought, oh my God, they got David Harbour to play a Klingon? That is awesome. No, it wasn't him. I was so disappointed, but I honestly thought for a brief moment it was David Harbour playing that.
One of the things they explained is that. Sorry, go ahead.
It wasn't David Keeley.
David Keeley would play him. Yeah.
David Keeley. Yeah.
You know, they did mention that character development has to move a little faster because you only get 10 episodes per season these days, where before when you would have 25 episodes a season, like in Next Gen or Voyager or etc., you had time to slowly develop the character and get to know them, and you'll have an episode here or there that might focus on one more than another. Here they really have to bring that you know, you got to get to know the characters very fast, and that can feel a little forced, but
yes.
But I do overall. I have to say I've really enjoyed Academy, and I've seen some of the critiques online. Boy, they are just mean about it online, and I'm assuming there's a lot of conservative viewpoints that are extremely negative and taking up a lot of the space in the online forums. You know, you see people, oh, it's woke, it's this, it's that, blah blah blah. But you know, I love it. I think it's one of the best Treks I've seen in a long time. And Rotten Tomatoes and others believe it's really, really good. But I guess there's a lot of fake Trek fans out there pretending like it's, you know, what a piece of shit.
Let me ask you this. And let me ask you this, Tyson and Phil. In this particular episode, what they was talking about and stuff, do y'all kind of feel like there was some real world, you know, feelings when they was discussing stuff like that? You can apply some of that to the real world, what's going on in and around us and stuff. You know, not just in the United States, but like in the world as a whole and stuff and everything else. Because you know they was discussing, you know, when to help and when not to help, or should help be forced upon, like I said, forced upon and stuff. You probably didn't see one of the episodes back a few weeks ago, but there was a gentleman named Lou in here, and he had a cat that looks just like Spot.
Oh,
it was crazy accurate of stuff. I was like, oh my God, that's Spot. But no,
I've got an alley tabby.
I was just saying, do you see anything in just even if in the most recent episodes too? Because I know you weren't here with us, Tyson, for the first few episodes and stuff. But like, you see anything that you see a bridge and like, oh my goodness, you can apply this to what's going on right now in the real world. I'll leave it to Tyson first, and then Phil, you take it.
I definitely did in Discovery, which, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I feel like Starfleet Academy is a spinoff of Discovery.
It
Uh,
is.
it has a lot of Discovery characters, so I'm considering it a spinoff. In Discovery, when they brought Stacey Abrams as the president of Earth, United Earth, and their United Earth is about to rejoin the Federation. Stacey Abrams walked, and her famous catchphrase, "We need to get to work," which is what she always said when she was running for governor of Georgia. When she was, so I really felt, boy, it was tied to that moment that we were experiencing in real life politically. Um, I wonder, because they really are, touching on a whole lot of ethical points, and at least in this particular episode, if future episodes will speak to what's happening in our world today. And I can't um express enough my disappointment, upset. These aren't the right words. Anger, frustration, even furiousness over what's happened in Minnesota, what you're seeing in the Twin Cities. I mean, it almost, a couple of weeks ago, you might have said, "What is the biggest news story?" Oh, Trump wants to get Greenland, or we invaded Venezuela, or any number of things that nobody would imagine the United States. I mean, in 12 short months, I
These
mean,
and oil tankers.
I mean, you can't imagine. But then in Minnesota, it's just, that just, um,
2 people are
Alex
dead.
Preddy, that just ripped my heart out. And
Yeah.
Renee Good, and even if they're, by the way, there was no plausible defense for Renee Good. I mean, she had her wheel turned, she was moving away, and the last, he shot 3 times. The second, third shot were shot through the driver's side windows, so clearly he wasn't in front of the car when those last 2 shots. But even if you can somehow, well, vehicle moving towards an officer is not the first time a cop shot at a moving vehicle saying, "I was scared, they were going to hit me." Alex Preddy, I don't see any. It was shot from multiple angles. They had actually taken the gun off of him before they shot him. Like, I don't see how that. And I've just, for the last couple of weeks, just been in this mood that I can't get out of. That's just, you know. And I take psychological medicine, so I'm just put it there. I still can't get out of this funk. Um, and I'm wondering if I'm not the only person that feels this way, and if not, are some of the writers in Star Trek going to draw some parallels? When we, in the 80s and 90s, when LGBT was fighting for rights, they did an episode of Star Trek TNG. They used an androgynous race to sub in for the homosexual, but will they do some kind of parallel, some unjust killing, and how do they cope with that? I'd be interested to see if they do stuff like that.
Mm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Phil, how about yourself? You muted, Phil.
Yep, no, I just switched it off there. I was clicking something. I mean, this has always been a thing of Star Trek, and I always felt that in some degree, no matter what you're watching, or it's always reflected something all the way back to, of course, the original series. Obviously, much more so, is obviously reflective of what was going on in the world, and that was something that I think that was very much a part of Roddenberry's idea, was had to have a science fiction show that could be a commentary on what was going on in the world. So it's always been part of Star Trek.
absolutely.
In fairness, I haven't really
Yeah.
given it a lot of deep thought or deep looked into it a lot as far as what's going on with the current episodes. I've just kind of been just watching them. But yeah, I very much so. I could probably open up again and start drawing parallels of me with what's going on. But I feel like it almost should be, right. That is what Star Trek was kind of supposed to be. It was taking the issues of the world and going out in the universe and seeing that it's not just something localized to us, but these are real things with any species and any being and through the universe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially in this episode too, because they was debating, and as I was saying too, the debate was about like showing the cadets, when you going up against Starfleet isn't going to be always about battles and ships and fighting and stuff and everything else. The war is going to be in like a room with another you know species or someone else and something like that. You got to learn to debate debate what understand your adversary, and then try to find common grounds with the opponent on the other side of the table and stuff and everything, because it was it's a teachable moment that the doctor in this particular episode was showing that there is a pro and there's a against, and each side has to use facts, not your personal bias and stuff, but argue facts and stuff and everything, like the facts that Caleb was arguing about why Federation should force help on the Klingons. And basically Jaden was like, no, he's gonna take the adversarial role of saying we do not want that.
mhm.
Yeah, same, but early in the episode, Jaden just proper anxiety attack, stage fright, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
that. That's me. When public speaking in front of a large group like that, I'd be freaking out and stuttering and stammering and breaking into a sweat and just like I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, I'm going to forget my words, I'm just going to just totally brain fart. And in the fact that they also had like the putting us in his shoes with this, just hearing the head rush, just hearing your heart beating and labored breathing and sounds around getting cut off just because you're in that level of panic. You just don't know what to do with yourself. I got to commend the production staff for depicting that, putting us in Jaden's shoes in that moment.
Yeah,
I,
because
yeah.
Caleb's. Oh, go ahead, Tyson.
I was going to say we saw the same thing, with Reginald Barkley, right?
Oh
Absolutely.
yes.
And
Yeah.
and it's one thing when it's a human, but to see that in a Klingon is very
Yeah,
interesting. Anyway, but
definitely
go
a
ahead. Go
Klingon.
ahead.
I was gonna say too, Caleb. In this particular episode too, they show that Caleb, because Jaden asked Caleb, how do you remember? I think we talked about this, but like, how do you remember so much? So many little things, so many facts and stuff, and everything else. And he said something on the line. If I'm just paraphrasing here, that fighting isn't always about your fist and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta fight, with your brain, with your head and stuff and everything. You got to learn how to use knowledge as a weapon versus your fist. And Caleb has a way of using he being almost kind of Vulcan like, with facts and just throwing out statistic and data and everything else, and they're being very analytical and stuff and everything else, without almost, as Sean Ferrick said, feel the real heart behind it and stuff like that. You can throw out all those little, knowledge and stuff, but you don't have any understanding behind it and stuff. And that's where him and Jaden was different in this particular episode, because one was advocating, well, they should take our help no matter what. And the other one was like, well, we don't want your help. And you can't force your help upon us if we don't want it. Just like in today's world, like people who are on the streets dealing with mental health, or who have, uh, stuff that they're going through. Just recently, there was I guess a young actor. He was on I think it was a Nickelodeon show or something like that. He was caught. Somebody videoed him, and he just looked terrible. He was on the streets of LA somewhere, and he just looked terrible. He just looked ran down, beaten and stuff and everything. And the story goes, people was like wondering what happened to him. How did he go from like Disney and a Nickelodeon actor
Star.
to living on the streets and stuff and thing. He's in his 30s or something and everything else. And you know, people reached out to his mom and they talked, and his mom said that, they try to help him, and they bought him some, this and that. They bought him cell phones and stuff like that, but he ended up losing them and stuff. And at some point, they just kind of like gave up on him,
Let,
and it's
you,
sad.
let me ask you something. I know this was about debate. Imagine for a moment that you're an active person, right? You enjoy nature, you walk, you go to work, you're used to your life, and all of a sudden you're in an accident. Um, your neck is broken and you are immobilized from the neck down, basically bedridden for the rest of your life. You could ask two different people and get two different answers. Would you want to continue to live, being, feeding tube put in you, your mind and eyes and mouth would work, but nothing else would? Or would you just want to be put down? And you can kind of see this in what they were offering the Klingons, right? It's like, yes, you would keep us alive, but you would take away everything that makes us Klingon. You would, and the argument is, but you'd be alive. And it got me thinking about this. If you were not just quadriplegic, where you still have some feeling in your chest and back and arms, but truly, you know, from the neck down, no feeling whatsoever, and you had to spend your life laying in bed for 20 years. Um,
Mhm.
this is what they're offering the Klingons. So I mean, I can
Yeah,
understand.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think
Phil,
God
you
would be fine with that.
go ahead.
I
Would
think
you
God
say?
would be perfectly fine with that because you're practically. I mean, unless there's a greater purpose for you to lay in bed, but I don't think. I think at that point your life would be over.
I agree.
So that's a tough question actually, morality wise, because what is right or wrong in that situation? Because I mean, I look at it through through the divine, like through a Christian aspect. God is the giver of life, and He is the only one who can take away life. So apply that to Star Trek. I understand the perspective from the Klingons, but at the same time, I'm still implementing like that ethical aspect, that objective truth. Like, how do we get around that objective truth? Like, can we take life like that?
Here's a
Should
question
we?
for you.
Yeah.
When we talk
So
about ethics and morality, on one side of this planet, it is okay to marry a 12-year-old, while at the same time, gay people can be put to death for being gay. On this side of the planet, gays can be married, but if you try to marry a 12-year-old girl or have sex with somebody, so that's
yeah,
punishable by life in prison.
Yeah.
So each group of people have what they consider morally right or ethically right, or and it's easy for us to look at that side of the world and make judgments, and it's easy for that side of the world to look at us and make judgments. But if we can't, as a human race, come to a universal moral or ethical code, how could we possibly anticipate what an alien's, you know, when I say alien, I want to clarify that I mean extraterrestrial. That an extraterrestrials, even has morals or ethics in any form that we could comprehend or understand, and we certainly would not be in a position to force our, ethical beliefs onto another group. Yeah, Stephen
yeah,
Hawking, Christopher Reeve is another good one.
Yeah, yeah,
The literal
yeah.
Superman, right? Literal Superman to paralyzed from the neck down. Some people do choose to go on like that. Other people don't,
yep,
and it's
yep,
really, you have to make that decision as the person put in that situation. You're the one who's going to have to live 20, 30 years in a bed with a feeding tube or not. And I think that's up to you. And like with the Klingons, you have to decide. The Klingons had to decide.
I agree.
So, what about yourself? What's your thoughts and intake?
No, that was actually a really good point. I was just actually thinking about that. Yeah, because it's um Yeah, a lot of the cultural implications on something like I said, I kind of hadn't really given the episode a lot of deep thought, but that's actually a really good point that Tyson made actually about that. Yeah, because I kept thinking through the episode, like it's like you're facing this, or your people are going to perish, but that's who they are, though. And yeah, you kind of have to accept that about them, that this is the way they are, this is the way they've lived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and that yeah. I don't know how much more I can add to that. That was actually really well put.
You know what? What
Thank you.
Tyson and what you're saying too. It really drives home the point too. And with Tyson bringing in real world, you know, stuff. It brings one to a perspective on what even Zach said to the morality, ethics, and morality and stuff and
Mhm.
everything else. You can respect one's culture. You may not practice it, and I know Janeway even said this one time. Just because I don't practice in one's cultural beliefs and stuff doesn't mean that I don't respect them. I don't have any non-bias towards himself and everything else. I give, like, it's talking about, like, I forgot what episode it was, but she gives people under her command leadway, when it comes to exploring their, cultural belief stuff, long as it's not a danger to themselves or others and stuff and everything. If it's something like what happened between what Worf was doing, I can understand it's a Klingon, you know, tradition about him and Kern. Kern wanted to commit suicide, and Worf was going to help him. Dak stepped in, security was called, and Worf got chewed out by Cisco and stuff and everything. That
Do you know,
right
it
there.
actually just reminded me of a line I've actually even used before in from Star Trek 3, when Kirk was requesting to go get Spock, and the admiral wasn't letting him. He says, "I never did understand all this Vulcan mythology," and he's like, "You don't have to." He says, "I'm not even sure I do." He
Yeah.
says, "But this was his friend, and he had to go after him, right?" But I thought that was an interesting little bit of dialogue that's always stuck in my head ever since the first time I saw it. Was that moment he says, "You don't have to believe it either. It's just like respect it. I just, if there's a chance it could save his life, you wanted to,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
brilliance of it, right?
Mhm.
Like right and wrong, morality, that's objective. Like we all know, we're all swayed by something to know what is right and what is wrong objectively. There's objective truth out there, but ethics is cultural and culture is fluid. So perhaps the best way to adjust to the morality with the ethics is understand that culture is fluid, and some cultures don't adhere to your culture. So the right thing to do would be to allow the culture to live out their culture.
And that's what in this particular episode, because there are new faces, new cadets from worlds that's never been. What's that? Kylonian, who's
Mm.
Dameron.
Yeah.
He's one of the first. Uh, and by the way, Tyson, I don't know if you know that they say he is pansexual. He's pansexual.
Is that,
Kylonian.
is that a way to say he's smoking hot?
What
Straight right out of the
Well,
pan?
yeah, that too.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
what what is pansexual?
That
Reminds
It doesn't
I'm-
matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Can I
Okay.
mention something else slightly off topic, just for a moment? Because as I said, I was working on something at the same time, and a moment came up, and I had to rewind for a minute. And I don't know if I'm reading the scene correctly or not, but it was where oh god, I'm terrible with characters' names. But he was I'm
Well,
characters' names. What's the Klingon's name again?
Jaden.
Aiden. So it was the British guy that came in, and there was a moment.
Yeah, that's what Raimi.
There's a moment where he was trying to help him, and he was talking to him, and it was getting a little close, a little intimate there for a moment. And I don't know if there was supposed to be a moment between those two, or if that was just he was really trying to get into his head. And maybe that's all it was. Maybe I'm reading into that way too much, but there was like this weird kind of
Plus, he did came in to help him with his I would say anxiety, because Jaden has some anxiety, and
Big time.
apparently, uh, uh, Caleb, what was it? I could call Caleb. He was in their quarters or their room and everything else, running. You know, he was being annoying and stuff and everything else. So he went to go see. From what I understand, he went to see Jaden because Jaden. He saw that Jaden was suffering from what we say an anxiety attack or something. He was
Yes, I remember
suffering
that.
from
Yeah, a Klingon with a panic attack. I loved it.
a panic attack and stuff. So he was teaching. He looked like he was teaching him a meditative breathing technique, how to focus, you know,
That's
how
what
to
he
focus, like
start,
he did this,
like he was
how to
doing.
focus and stuff like that. But at that same time, when he was teaching him and stuff, for a moment they kind of, you know, they locked eyes. They did lock eyes, and they was very close, and then they smiled at each other
because their voices dropped and it got very quiet and got a little heated rivalry there for just a moment. So so I'm like, did I you know what I'm talking about?
I really got to watch Heated Rivalry. That's all anybody's talking about anymore. I've never seen it. So
See, which platform is that
I've only
on?
seen the first 2 episodes. I gotta watch
HBO Max, Heated Rivalry. Anybody who's interested,
of course Travis has seen it.
I have seen it all.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's some things in there I'm told I would enjoy watching. So
Yeah, see, I got HBO Max. I just, again, Pedro doesn't have enough hours in the day for all the shit that I need to get done. But I wanted to do want to address a question that Dylan put out earlier. What is Katie's thoughts of this episode? I don't know. I haven't asked her explicitly what she thought of it, if she's watched it yet, but when she does come back in 2 weeks, we might just get a rundown of just like hits and misses in her.
Yeah, where's Katie been? Somebody's gonna have to catch me up. Where has Katie been?
Well, she hasn't been feeling 100%. So with her chronic insomnia and all that, she needs time to recenter herself. And next week she's doing a family thing, if I'm not mistaken. So she's not going to be back home till Thursday. I think she leaves on Sunday and doesn't get back until Thursday, so she's going to miss next week's episode too. So Travis has already accepted the step up for her next week as well. But she's going to be here for episode 99 and 100. I said, you better be here for episode 100. So it's crazy that we're hitting episode 100 and technically Trek already. It's just mind blowing that we've been doing it for this long, and we've been doing it for over 3 years, going back on the Twitter days, because season 3 of Picard is when we were doing a lot of talk on that. Travis
all right,
and
Oprah, are we all getting a car?
We're all getting heroin.
The thing, as y'all see, we have Zach live with us. We have Tyson Strauss.
By that he means a female hero.
We have Phil live with us. We have people in chat and everything. Dave, myself, and everything else. There's a link down in the description and stuff. If you want to come join us, we have still some open spots and stuff too. Hear you know, your thoughts and intakes and stuff and everything. Feel free to join us and stuff and everything. We one of the few channels that offer the live participation and stuff, and we welcome, even if y'all have the opposite viewpoints of ours and stuff and everything. We enjoy anybody who is actually a true fan of Star Trek, you know, who has an insight that we probably don't, you know, we never consider and stuff and everything. Join us and stuff. If you are afraid, or I should say camera shy, and you don't want to, you know, be on camera, just like how Zach is, you can block out your camera and you can talk to us via, you know, whatever, like, you know, avatar stuff.
Especially if you have an opinion different from ours. We get tired of kissing our own asses, right? So yeah,
well,
I'd love to hear it.
Or you can kiss our asses. We'll take that. You can kiss our asses.
Travis,
while you're at it,
this.
While you're at it, open up another tab if you're watching on the computer right now. Go down to w.gg. Go buy 2 orders, all right? Get 20% off. Go use Legacy Right and Tech Trek. You'll get 10% off each. Go get yourself some W. I know that the rainbow sherbet is delicious.
That's next on my list to pick up. So
Okay.
Go
It's
get
always
Just as
good
yourself
to taste
two
the
long
orders.
rainbow. It's always good to taste the rainbow, you know.
as long as we don't bring up the polydent flavor anymore, I'm okay.
How about the
Well,
pansexual flavor?
but again, say it while they still have it in stock, get the s'mores because it's delicious. It just tastes like the
Mm.
the the
Mm.
campfire treat. It's awesome. But like it's
How about
Okay,
Grandpa's
once
dentures?
it's
stop
gone,
talking about me. I know how to
what
How about
smoke things,
Grandpa's
boy.
dentures?
well, the denture water,
Yeah, the denture one.
it's okay. But no, the s'mores, once that's gone, it's gone. It's going to be vaulted.
Mm.
They may or may not bring it again in the future, but what stock they
Yeah.
have available, that's all that they got for right now. So,
Travis, that
uh-oh.
has got to be our celebrity name when we get married. S'mores. Because you got like a puffy white against melty chocolate.
We have
I
we have
just compared
marriage
myself to the
proposals
fucking
today.
Might
Stay
have to.
Puft Marshmallow Man. I don't know how that's attractive, but okay.
How about the Michelin Man?
Perfectly track everyone.
But yeah, the Michelin Man. There we go. I'll lay some tracks.
Tony, beat me up. Oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody who's in chat with us right now. Thank you for all your patience and stuff and everything. I hope we haven't been too much for anybody, even
Uh,
I'll be
Buckeyes.
blocked for the next 2 episodes, so everybody is safe.
But I want
Oh,
to.
that would be
Okay,
me.
but let's talk about it before we wrap things up here soon. Let's talk about I wouldn't say the third act, but like around the fourth to fifth act. After they finished their debates and stuff and everything else. Jaden kind of gave an idea to their chancellor on how they can you know still give the illusion to the Klingons, with a worthy battle to be fought without
but,
anybody dying. Go
but
ahead.
before we go that, we got to talk about the before when Nala met up with Obel to try and talk
Oh,
about that, where there's definitely I think in the past there was some chemistry between the two of them because I mean the way that they were just like Worf and Way of the Warrior and saying drinking with that one Klingon, just getting drunk as under the table drunk, trying to get more information,
yeah.
just trying to loosen him up a little bit. There's definitely some sexual tension between the two of them. But the next day when she sat next to Laura at the debates, it's like, "Are you drunk?" Nope. I say, "I take it didn't go according to plan." Yep. I say she was drunk on blood wine.
Mhm.
But and he did made a comment about it being a oh how did he say it? I got it written down there. Uh, a vintage blood wine, and my first comment was it 2309?
Ooh,
Because that was a
2309.
good year for blood wine.
Yes,
So that would definitely
yes.
qualify as vintage.
Dylan, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you for being and stopping with us and everything else.
Oh, good night,
Hope
Dylan.
everything goes well with you. You take care and be safe.
As always,
Okay.
yep. Until
I
next
mean,
time, man.
blood wine is supposed to be made out of real blood, right? Is that
Yes.
of a targ? Is
Yes.
that
Yes.
okay?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, you would think blood ages like milk, right? It would curdle. It would like it doesn't ferment well. I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Well, there's some other additives to it to
Give
help
its
preserve it, I
deleterious
guess.
give it its deleterious effects and stuff, because when it hits human, it hit human really hard, and just like ramen and ale, it makes
And,
you drunk real.
and it,
Doc being
I
a
guess
pure
it hits
vegetarian. Drinking it in Discovery, I mean that had to be a lot of. I mean that was alcohol plus animal product.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
But yeah, that what is it? Yeah, just that comment, just like 2309 question mark.
Yeah, 2309.
Because even with DS9 2309, it was like 2370. So you're still looking at 60 plus years of it sitting around. So add another 0 plus 200 on top of that. You can imagine. Because I mean, they're finding liquors that were buried for 300 years
You know
over
something? I
on the
was just
East
thinking
Coast
about
somewhere.
this. I was thinking about this. You know how in Picard, his family, he grew up, Chateau Picard. They grew up making wine and stuff and everything else. And Jim.
Oh, the chats are hopping tonight. Thanks,
Yes,
guys.
I was just thinking too. Picard humans, they make wine. So
Mhm.
you kind of wonder, what will it be like to work on the Klingon homeworld as a, a blood winemaker. One of
Well,
those people who brewed and stuff and everything.
Lower Deck season 5.
See, I forgot about that. I totally
Oh,
spaced.
yeah, that's true, yeah.
I
Yeah,
spaced out of there.
Ma'a and Malor, or not Malor.
Well, fellas, enjoy the rest of your show. I'm gonna get on out of here.
All right, talk to you later, Zach.
Take care, Zach. Good to
Like
see you.
and, like and
so much,
subscribe,
Zach.
everybody. Make sure you
Thank
like
Like
and
and
you.
subscribe.
subscribe.
So,
Like and subscribe.
peace.
Thank you.
And Tyson, love to see you, man. It's been a minute.
You too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see your logo.
I know. But since we coming down at the close to the bottom of the hour and everything else, I don't know how long they want to
Well, I mean,
continue.
if we still got important stuff to chat about the episode, I'm totally down for that. But I'm just,
Okay.
Can I
as
mention
I see
something
you're
else
kind of.
really quick that's been in the back of my head? I had to bring this up.
Go ahead.
Totally off topic of everything else we've been saying, but the one thing I couldn't help but notice in this episode, particularly, I think more so than the previous ones, is the use of Jerry Goldsmith's music and even the original Star Trek theme at the very
Yes.
subtly in the
The
background.
Klingon theme.
And I was like,
What was it from? What was it from the motion picture?
Yes,
the
the
Klingon
Klingon
when
music he wrote for the motion picture.
Well, that's when the Klingon theme was first introduced, was the motion picture, but it's
Right.
been
The
used in Next
Klingon March
Generation,
was something
DS9.
that and they use it throughout. I mean, even in Next Generation, like when the two Romulan warbirds were about to get the Enterprise, and then the three Klingon warbirds uncloak around them. They did
Yeah.
the Klingon
Yep.
March. They do the Klingon March anytime they want to emphasize the presence
The
of the
Klingons.
Klingons.
It's
And
such a
I
great
love
piece
it.
of music. I wish it was used more often, but yeah.
It is.
Well,
But also
and
the
of course,
classic Trek theme at the beginning too, the original.
a little bit. Oh yeah, the Klingon font at the very, very, very beginning of the episode. I made a note of that as well. I thought that was a nice little touch.
I mean, like the original series theme was played very briefly at the beginning of the episode. But yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, but as we're kind of talking about the scene, there's the USS Riker.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, at the end where the fleets. Well, I say the
I heard
ship.
that correctly or not.
Yeah.
I meant to go back and check that.
Yeah,
I heard the Riker, and then I heard something. What was the other one?
I think the Constellation was one of them. I should have wrote them all down, but
I wonder if they had any
the original, the origin. I think it was the origin. The
think so.
Horizon, the origin, something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I know what I wanted to say. I caught hell for this online on the Voyager fan
Uh-oh.
group, and I know Dave saw that post because you commented on it, and that was during the 60-year opening scroll, the Star Trek scroll,
Mhm.
as they go through the different hero ships. Voyager's nacelles are not in the warp position. At the
Yeah,
I
when they
forget what they
fold up.
call it, geometric
Yeah.
something or other, but basically 45-degree. And people just tore me apart. Oh, that didn't have to be, angled. It only has to do it in
Kelly was trying
slipstream.
to
It wasn't angled, and on and on. They just were chewing me up, and I'm like, dude, okay. When the scroll starts, it starts with a hero of the Enterprise, right? The original
Mhm.
Enterprise, and it even does the stretch and the warp sound, right?
Yep.
So they're telling you we're going into warp. And then as it pans across and you look at the different hero ships, it's believed to be at warp speed, right? That is what we're not looking at slipstream. We're not looking at whatever the fuck the Borg do.
Transwarp.
Transwarp. Yeah, we're looking at regular warp speed. And all the regular Star Trek openings with each of their hero ships when you watch those shows is that hero ship going to warp, doing the delta. Depending on the show, there's either a koala or there isn't. But it's the hero ships are at warp. Now, if Voyager is at warp, its geometric warp nacelles should be angled up. That's all. That's all I was saying. Boy, I caught hell. It doesn't have to be. It could have been slipstream. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It wouldn't have been that difficult to make it to put their nacelles. Cat, go away. Do you want to? You just want to be on the show?
She's trying to console you. You're upset. She's trying to console you.
Meow. She's talking. He's a loud one.
Oh, say
That's really
the stray that lives outside our apartment here. Oh my god, that she just nonstop meow 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 meow. We feed her, she meows. It's a two people feed her, she still meows. She is a greedy little bugger.
Oh, that's nothing. I've got chickens that live next door and goats, by the way. But those chickens, man, you would think they were laying ostrich eggs. The way they're, oh my God, just those damn chickens. You can hear them from a mile away. Okay, I don't know who did that. It wasn't me.
hear something. Anyway.
I don't remember why. We were talking about chickens a couple of weeks ago, and I found those audio clips, and I just kept them on there.
No, but
That's
those
hilarious.
things just cluck all day. It's
Chicken,
ridiculous.
chicken. Who doesn't like a good chicken head? But anyway, back to the episode. Back to this episode and stuff. Yeah. Like in a sense, just in overall structure of
Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. Yes, it should be a
And
certain
not
way.
only
You're
that,
right.
just one little last side note on that is that we didn't see any of the animated ships. We didn't see the Cerritos. We didn't see the Protostar.
No.
And we didn't see the G, and we didn't see not the G, the Enterprise E. We didn't see the Enterprise E. A lot of people made us think about that.
Yeah.
The Cerritos, of course. We didn't see the Protostar.
I always wonder if it was just for the for the series, not
and
for
we didn't
movie
see the
point.
J.J. Abrams
Yeah.
ships.
Yeah, no.
No, that was the Discovery Enterprise. It wasn't the J.J. Abrams Enterprise.
Yeah, so, and of course they had the Enterprise
that again.
refit A/A.
They did,
so.
and I loved the A. That is still the refit and or A are still my favorite ship of all Star Trek.
Well,
Same
Jack
here.
Crusher agrees with you.
Tyson, you missed it before we started. Before we started academies of was it last week? A couple of weeks ago, we did our top 5 all-time favorite Star Trek episodes and movies and stuff. And sure enough, even Hugo was with us too. A lot of us actually chose some quite a bit of TOS stuff. Katie was not happy. But we did our top 5 of, some of our greatest, Star Trek episodes that, that we enjoyed and stuff and everything.
Oh
Boy,
dear,
I
Dylan.
wished you was here for us for that.
I would love to see Katie's face.
Oh,
We should get
when
Like
when
like
a
the
couple yeah, a couple people did it. It's like, I'm sorry, Katie, and I clicked mine. It's like the Doomsday Machine. She just, I question our
Oh,
friendship.
she was just shaking her head.
the Constitution refit, like I said, is my favorite ship, and no other ship really feels to me like when I look at all the different ships, and yeah, they're all fantasy, right? But if
Mm,
you had to pick one that looked like it would, like it looked real, like it could really be in outer space doing what it's doing, the design, the love that they put into the design of that ship, and
yeah.
the hero ship, the movie ship, is something like 10 feet long, and they put all sorts of detail in it.
mhm.
The deflector light, they put the torpedo launchers in the neck there, and I mean they just made it beautiful. I mean, before in all the other ships, the torpedoes just seem to come out of nowhere, or the phasers have phaser
Yeah.
strips. This actually had little turrets on the front and the sides, on the
Yeah.
top and on the underside, and just gorgeous. The ship was just gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And my favorite movies are the TOS movies 2 through 6. Just we don't talk about 5.
-5.
I was
We
gonna
don't
say
talk about 5.
we don't talk about 5. We don't talk about 5 and
We
everything
don't
else.
talk about Bruno. No.
You know what? And
Yeah, it's
you know what too? A lot of us we chose because this is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek and stuff, and because we're much a little much older than Katie and stuff and everything. And some of our first Star Trek stuff was TOS going into TNG and stuff and everything else. uh a lot of us actually chose, in a sense, like I chose Star Trek 3. Like Star Trek 3 was one of my picks for like one of my favorite Star Trek memories or of all times, regardless of it being a TV show or a movie and stuff and everything. It's just because it's whimsical and it had this like adventurous. And then, Dave mentioned earlier too, about like, hey, look, I don't understand, like when Kirk was given the commander of Starfleet why he needs the Enterprise back and stuff and everything. He's like, I don't understand Vulcan's, mythology, but it
I believe the
somehow
word was mysticism, but I could be wrong.
mysticism or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, something like that and everything else. But like I really enjoy Star Trek 3. So and even Phil had a few TOS, stuff thrown in there with, some TNG because we go back to the TNG and stuff and everything else, but we had poor Katie squirming that whole night. We was just talking because we was just like, we sorry, Katie,
I did two. I picked two out of the original series for.
Oh yeah, Star Trek 2 has got to be one of the
Oh,
best.
so I meant that I picked two original series episodes, and she wasn't.
I was saying in the movie, Star
The
Trek
movie,
2 is one of
2
my
is
favorites.
yeah.
That was just, it's the only time in the classic Star Trek, the 1 through 6, even if you count 7, it's the only time we see the Enterprise fire its phasers on the movie ship, is in Star Trek 2.
Oh,
The Enterprise does not fire its phasers in Star
Nope,
Trek the
you're
Motion
right.
Picture, Star
Nope.
Trek
right.
3, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6,
Yep.
and it doesn't exist in
Yeah.
Star Trek 7.
Well, it didn't fight, but you're
Hmm.
right. It was torpedoes. Yeah.
No, it
It was
only ever used its
torpedoes.
phasers in Star Trek 2. And they were
Interesting. Yeah.
pulse phasers where you
Yeah.
could see the pulse. It wasn't just 2 straight lines.
A straight line. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was
Yep.
pulse phaser.
Pulse, yeah.
Beautifully done.
Well
It just
done. Yeah.
ILM. And
Uh,
then 5 was a disaster from start to finish, but when Bill Shatner decided he wasn't going to use ILM, I could have done better with crayons. Like the warp effect, the torpedo effect, the just oh my god! I've seen better effects on the Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know where they got these guys from.
Even
well,
just
they're midst of a
cinematically, there
strike
would be
too, which
straight
didn't help
on
matters.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That were
it
just
was
bland.
horrible.
Just like, yeah.
It just
Yeah.
five always rubbed me the wrong way. And they went from we know where Earth is, right? So if you think of the Milky Way galaxy, and we're kind of towards the edge on one of the spiral arms here in the Milky Way, right? In a matter
Yeah.
of hours, they went from the edge of the galaxy to the center of the galaxy. But Voyager is going to take 75 years with newer, and by the way, newer, faster warp
I know.
scale, right? A faster warp scale.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the TOS warp scale.
I love
and
Jim.
they went across the galaxy in a matter of hours.
So many
1000%, Jim. That
Yeah.
that turbo shaft is like Deck 78. What the? Is
Oh
it?
yeah, Deck 78.
Although I will say it
78
did give
decks?
me. I will say the one little thing I did get out of 5 is there was a line that was used that I've actually repeated many times. Is when they were talking about when the three of them were in the woods and he was doing his mix of the beans and
Oh, the secret ingredient.
the secret
Tennessee
ingredient
whiskey.
was whiskey and one, I think it was Kirk that was said something like an explosive combination.
He said this. He said to the doctor, to Dr. McCoy, bourbon and beans. That'll be. He said that's an explosive combination.
Combination.
Bourbon and beans. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, Spock said it
I've
was
used that phrase
surprisingly
I've used that phrase
good
many times.
tasting, right? Oh, these are surprisingly good. That's because of the secret ingredient.
Yeah.
And Jim says, "You have any more of that secret ingredient?" Am I to understand your secret ingredient is alcohol?
Yeah. Bourbon and beans.
Yeah,
Explosive combination.
funny you mention that because like at the start of the episode, Tice, I don't know if you caught it, but there was a hospital in France that was evacuated because someone had a World War I bomb up their butt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
move
heard it-
over,
oh, I heard
Richard
it this
Gere. We got a new one.
Well,
Yeah, see, it was a an 8-inch ordnance just
8-inch
lodged up
ordnance.
his bum.
Yeah, about
But
what,
I was
20
confused. It was the right shape. It was humming. I thought this would work.
My question is to every, just listen. My question when I heard this on the radio, with Dave and Jen. Well, they call Dave and Jen here. I would listen to the local radio, and they would just talk about like some crazy news that's happening. I first thing came to my thought was, what kind of lube did he use? I mean, you can't just go in dry. You can't just go in dry. I mean,
yeah, something that's 120 years old almost, 110 years old.
Oh, which reminds me of a Richard Gere joke. Why don't gerbils drive stick shifts?
because they up Richard Gere's ass.
Well, because they can't get out of gear.
oh,
Really. It's so old that if people even remember why that's funny, that's Jennifer Flowers was asked
Jill.
about her experience with Bill Clinton, and they compared her to Monica Lewinsky, and they said, "So Jennifer Flowers, was your experience, exactly the same as Monica Lewinsky?" And she said, "Well, close, but no cigar."
oh dear.
All right. I'm done with the stupid jokes. I'm done.
Yeah. But no, this wasn't the first time someone did this in France either. Back in 2022, an 88-year-old man went to the hospital with the same foreign object up his butt.
Okay, I can get some, young
Well,
punk,
this
with
guy
a bomb
recently
up
is
his
24,
ass,
so.
but 88 years old and you're still looking for a good time. Where's
people
Chris
got
from
people got to find creative ways of entertaining themselves. I guess I mean, when you get older at a point, you got to find out what can I do today to entertain myself.
When I was going through puberty, I could tell you how I entertained myself like 5 times a day. But I mean, I didn't use a bomb or anything or fucking gerbil. I mean, jeez.
A
Yeah,
good
Gar.
some people got creative ways to get their kinks. If it gets them off, more power to them.
I'm
Oh,
almost done with this. Anybody want to use it? Here.
imagine had to call the bomb squad for that. You know, I mean,
Well, they
you
did
got a
call
lot.
bomb squad.
Oh
They
man, they got
evacuated
a
the
lot.
hospital.
Oh, they had to evacuate something else, I'm sure.
Well, that too,
How
but
do, how do we
You know what?
extraction team extraction? Can you
I
imagine the
wanted this.
proctologist's face? Like did they
Yes,
use a robot?
because we're talking Star Trek. We talking Star Trek and Starfleet Academy. Imagine one of these Academy cadet doing something like that. Let me shove a phaser up my ass. Do you have to go to the doctor and be like, "Yeah, doctor, how are you gonna get this out? Are you gonna
but
beam it out, or are you
remember
gonna?"
the first episode of Academy say that did you bathe in a bog? Say take this. Say call me 3 days if something else moves. It's like wait a minute, don't do that. Don't tell me.
Wow. Yeah, I've always wondered, with transporters, that's probably do a whole episode on transporters, but um if all it's doing is converting matter into energy, um putting that on a carrier wave for lack of a better word, you're transmitting it and then you reconstitute it. Does it really matter if you use the same matter? Like, what if you just disintegrated the matter that was on the transporter, used an equal amount of matter at a different location, but used the same transporter trace to, reconstitute the
Mm,
matter? I mean, it wouldn't have to be, an atom is an atom, right? It doesn't matter if it was the atom over here, if it's the new atom over here. An atom is an atom. Does a person die every time they get into the transporter and is a new life form appearing every time and how would you know? Like I'm with Dr. McCoy. You wouldn't get me in that thing.
See, this is what we miss you, Tyson. No, but one thing, see, it was awesome to see Admiral Vance in this episode. But
He said a year or two of gerbils and you have to turn to guinea pig. Oh my fucking god. Oh, Jesus. Jim. Jim.
Katie's not here to see all this. She'd be
Uh,
all for
uh,
bonkers right now.
uh,
Oh,
but
Gio,
but
go ahead.
well, I'm assuming Vance was really on the bridge during the altercation with the Klingons because early in the episode it was just a hollow projection of him in Ake's office,
Hmm.
but at first it took me a second when he was standing there and he glitched. I thought I was seeing things like, oh, hologram.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But he made the comment that may the Klingon gods help us. I was like, dude, do you not read your history? The Klingon gods are dead. See, Worf said
Yeah.
so himself on DS9 that they slew all their gods because they were more trouble than they were worth.
Mhm.
well, Kahlest was always supposed to come back, but was he a god or was he just a regular Klingon that?
No, he was a regular Klingon.
Yeah, well, then
He was
how
a
would he
real.
come back?
Yeah.
Only a god can come back, right? I mean, otherwise you're dead. Like any other Klingon could just come back. I mean,
Because Zach's not here, I would make this comparison. He was their Jesus. You know, he was their Klingon Jesus and stuff. Everything to what we would see Jesus as.
but we also see
He was a
Jesus
mortal
as a
man
deity, don't we?
Yeah. Well,
when
the
he
Klingons
dies.
regard him as a deity, a deity, or yeah. And then of course there was the clone that they cooked up in Rightful Air. I think it was Rightful Air.
DS9, yeah.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was Next
In
Generation. It was Next Generation when
in
they
TNG.
brought him back.
Was
Or
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a Next Gen
In
episode.
TNG. It was a next
I
gen
thought it was
episode.
a DS9.
No, they
Okay.
mentioned
was
him in
Well, I
DS9.
think did they bring him back in DS9?
No, no, they brought him back in. Yeah, because Worf was
Because he was in more
going
than
on a
one episode.
He was
Yeah,
in one of the last. He was in one of the last episodes, one of the few last episodes of the sixth season in
Okay.
Rightful Heir. When Worf went to Klingon monastery to have some sort of vision or something and everything else, and something happened
yeah.
and
The
he
monk
was
hooked up a clone with the original.
Okay, I know you guys are all over the world. I pretty much North America. Has it been
Yeah.
cold where you guys are? Like Travis, Phil, Dave, that cold?
Ooh, ooh, this is Canada. Yeah,
No, it was
yeah.
cold here last week.
Because I heard in
Tyson,
the
let me tell
news
you.
last week that it was.
Let me tell you this, Tyson. From where I'm here in part of the Appalachian, in Huntington, West Virginia, I live on the Ohio River, a part of the Ohio River and stuff. It's been so cold. The temperature has been under 20 degrees for like a consecutive
Yeah.
over 10 days and stuff and everything else. We have ice forming on the river. New York City had to close their harbors and basically tell people y'all can't go because their river, the Hudson River and the East River, all rivers in just about in the upper eastern edge, even in Buchanan stuff like that, are frozen.
It's
They are frozen. Some of them are frozen more so than others, but we have got to the point where the rivers are frozen and stuff. We have had ice, snow.
where's my phone? Do you know
It's
what's been
crazy.
going on in Southern California? Okay, here's Ramona. Today, look what it says today. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Mm,
I have to do the
no.
Well,
conversion.
actually, let's
Or if it's or right up here. 80 degrees. It was 80 degrees today. It's going to be 75 degrees tomorrow. Next Sunday, it's going to be 79 degrees. Like, we can't catch a fucking break. The whole time I've lived in Ramona, it's been like Hell's Kitchen. Let's just change the name to Death Valley and be done with it. Like, even in
Mm.
the middle of effing winter, I can't catch a break. It's still 80 degrees. And I'm not saying this to be smart ass or rub it in anybody's nose that we have warm, sunny Southern California weather. But when you're born here and you're raised here and this is all you ever know, you get fucking sick of it. Like, Southern Californians, this is how retarded we are. We will get in our car and drive to the mountains to see snow, like on purpose.
See
Like,
snow.
that is a destination, right? You get in your car, you drive hours, sometimes in a long line of people, because when it does snow, it's so very rare in the San Diego mountains. You get lines of cars trying to get into Julian or Alpine or uh, uh, Mount, not Mount Soledad. What's the other one? Uh, God, it starts with a P and I can't think of it. But Palomar, Mount Palomar. So this, people get in their cars, line up and drive hours just to go play in the snow because it's. Oh my God, what is this?
Me,
We've never seen this before.
Phil could tell you between us here, even Dave, but us here on on the eastern side of North America, right now we are begging for some warm weather because
Dylan, yeah, you
it's,
said 80 to
it is
84. Same
Um,
here.
we're
yeah,
I
gonna
might
get a
as well
little bit
be in
of
Arizona.
we're gonna get a
I'm sorry,
little
Phil.
bit of a warm spell, which is for us. I had to do some conversions here for you guys. Would be Fahrenheit 15. We're gonna get up to, but in the next couple of days it's going to go up, and then we're going to drop to about Celsius minus 31, which I think is minus 28.
Oy.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
going to
Yeah, it's
really drop.
supposed to be the low to mid 60s here for the next week, which is a stark comparison to like last Monday. It's the day started out at -5.
yeah.
I
We
But,
was
I
in.
don't think I've ever been in weather, even when we drove up to see the snow, that was lower than 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, I've never been in temperature below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. In other words, I've never stepped outside and had it be 0 degrees. Never in my life. Never experienced below zero.
Let me
Never.
tell you
well,
this. Somebody posted, a friend of mine posted on his Facebook. It was so cold. He took a pot of boiling water, went outside and threw it up in the air, and
It fell down his eyes.
Oh,
it was just this
Myth.
exothermic
Yeah,
reaction.
that's really cool.
It
I've done
was
that
the
before,
coolest thing.
yeah.
That's how cold it is. That is how cold it has been in our part of this country and stuff and
We
everything
used
else.
to do
I
It
that
was
remember
up
my
here.
friend
like
Ryan saying it was so cold my nipples could cut glass. I was like, okay, that's cold.
Well, yeah, we've had snow on Halloween here in the Springs in the past. I mean, like I said, it gets cold, but like that last Monday, it started out at -5. The daytime high got to 55. So in less than 6 hours, 8 hours, it jumped 60 degrees in temperature.
Where's Godzilla when you need him? Fucking Mothra.
But anyway, back to the episode. To say that final battle with the Riker and all those other ships, they just like shoot wide. Say they just kind of did it for show, but I think maybe some of the Klingons thought it was enough that it constituted a battle to say we're going to take this as a trophy.
we claim it in the right of the Klingon Empire and stuff and everything. You know, something to keep their honor, to keep for them to have pride within themselves. It's basically for them to keep within their prideful nature about like being a warrior culture and stuff and everything else. Which I kind of saw that coming. I'm like, they're not. They want to hand the plan over to the Klingons, but they got to do it in a way that satisfy the Klingons in a
Honor.
warrior in a warrior way. You got to look at it as an honor and everything else. You got to you gotta think like a Klingon. You gotta think like they're not the adversary, but you gotta think like the people you want to help. How do you want? Okay, let me give you an example. Um, do you guys remember in it was Enterprise? It was in season 4. It was when the Enterprise, I'm trying to remember the name. It
The
wasn't
E
the
squared.
Enar. No, it wasn't the Enar. It was in season 4. Uh Babel, Babel 1, Babel 1. I think it was called Babel 1 or Unity. I think it was called Babel 1 or Unity. One of those episodes. And when the Andorians was on their ship it started off with their Andorian ship that was carrying their ambassador to, a peace negotiation with the Tellarite delegation and stuff. And their Tellarite was on the Enterprise. And they was carrying the delegation and stuff. And it's like, okay, they're gonna set up where Archer's gonna have to be the negotiator and kind of in between the stuff and everything. Well, something happened. One of the female Andorian got killed by the second the ambassador's number 2. And Shran demanded, rights, blah blah blah, and everything else,
Yeah,
combat victory and stuff and
that's
everything.
where
Let's
his
make no
antenna
mistake.
got whacked off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I'm getting at is in that particular episode, when, as you said, his antenna got hacked off because Hoshi and Travis was trying to find a way for the captain to win, because it was going to end in bloodshed. Somebody has to die. But, they was like, what about we find a loophole? What loophole can they use that, preserves the honor and respect, you know, for the Endurian to say everything is good? Archer basically hacked off his antenna. Archer accepted the battle. Archer, did this and stuff and everything else. And it was like one of those little things where the humans had to play by the Andorian rule. But yet they actually found a loophole without it being so much of a bloodshed. Just like how in this particular episode of Klingon, in the Klingons, the Federation found a way for them to take the planet without actually, any lives being lost, and still maintain a front and say, hey, we went into battle, we claimed victory, and our adversary backed off, with no life, you know, gone.
Look at this shit. We're, look at the cat. She is climbing all over the record player, and my PS4, and okay, now she's where she belongs. She's climbing all over
See,
my.
you could say you got a really riled up pussy there.
Oh, dude.
She keeps it up. She's. I'm gonna have some wet pussy here. You gonna do that again? I need to get a spray
gosh.
bottle. I don't have a spray bottle. I need to get a spray bottle. I've unfortunately the only thing I have is this little rubber band, and when she was like climbing up on the curtains, I went, "Phew," and she got out the curtain. But I need a water bottle. I don't want
We are just so bad. Like this episode was pretty fun to me. I really enjoyed it because it got down to the debate. It got down to like
Yeah.
our arguments, the adversary versus the advocate and stuff.
Oh my.
But all in all, I did enjoy this episode, and you know what? They name dropped Voyager. Did y'all hear that? The Voyager
Where was that?
did get name dropped, didn't it?
Oh yeah, at the beginning with the doctor was talking about his fight for sentience and all
I
that. Yeah.
I
And
will say you Travis, just really quick, I think it was you, somebody asked about, will this mirror what's going on in today's politics, right?
yeah,
In a way, it kind of already has, because there is a nod to something, and
I
I'm
have
sure
heard
you
some
guys know
discuss with.
this.
I have heard some discussion about this. But go ahead.
I'm sure you guys have heard this. The huge stink that happened when the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was canceled,
Oh yes.
and they got Stephen Colbert to be the announcer in Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. So
Mhm.
anytime you hear the overhead speakers, please
Yeah,
report
the
to blah blah.
digital
That's Stephen
Digital
Colbert.
Dean. The Digital
Yep,
Dean.
Digital Dean is Stephen Colbert.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And he gets credited at the start of every episode to boot, so that's even
Hmm
cooler.
He so yes, his show got canceled. In my belief, it's for political reasons.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
And so now he's on Star Trek Academy as the Digital Dean. So you know what? That's what they're saying to the administration. I love it.
That's
But
good. That's good. I love you, Tyson. I'm so glad that you stopped in tonight with us and stuff. And I'm glad to see everybody, who joined us and stuff, and anybody live and stuff and Phil. It's been a real pleasure to have everybody, to anybody to join us and stuff and everything in these trying times and stuff because it's stuff like Star Trek, especially, episodes that comes on like what we just seen and you know, it kind of reflects on you start to think, wow, this kind of are the writers trying to write stuff that has happened or writing stuff that are current events that could be influenced in the future. What a possibility of the future and stuff and everything.
yeah,
Thank you,
we
Jim. Oh,
we
absolutely.
miss you too.
And, and miss you always and stuff. And it's really good to see that we could talk. We could still have some very fun, interesting conversation about Star Trek like we did this evening and stuff. But still, it has applied to some real world aspects of what's going on with us. You know, sadly, what we're dealing with all around the world, not just here in the U.S., but there's other places aside the U.S. and stuff and everything else. But you
Yep.
know, it's really good to see that people do have the understanding and difference of opinion, and then some people actually we all come together. We all see the same outlook that Star Trek, provides for us in the entertainment and everything else. But Phil, did you have something to say?
Oh, just it's cool subscribe graphic. I was just thinking where did you get that? I don't know.
It's a default in
Oh, okay.
StreamYard. So
Oh, is it okay?
yeah,
I
I've been
do
using
have.
that for
I'm going to
months. You
have to
just
buzz
noticed
off in a
it?
couple of minutes. I need to do a couple of things, and then I'm going to be doing my own. I
Live.
can do it last week, but I'm going to be trying to do my own live in about half an hour or so. So It's gonna be short.
Yes, Phil.
Yeah.
And people check out Phil's channel and stuff.
Phil-
He has some.
But arts.
I love his drawing, his art. It's really
What
really
about-
fun. As Katie's saying, the gay gorn.
Still coming.
Yeah, I don't think Tyson's seen the gay Gorn yet.
Oh, it'll be ready hopefully in a couple of weeks. Touch
Yes.
wood. Just people leave me
But-
alone. I'll have it done. But I was gonna tonight. Just not go too off topic. Tonight I'm gonna be talking about the fact that Adobe is dropping one of their big services. They're dropping Adobe Animate. They're getting rid of, and people are like, not. It's giving them another reason to like hate Adobe. So.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got a
and
notification of that,
Microsoft
too.
is getting rid of Publisher. Can you believe that?
Really?
Yes.
Really?
And
Wow.
in fact, they're trying to get us to learn some of the Adobe products. Like I've used Photoshop. I haven't really used Animate anyway, but there's several. Adobe has this huge suite of programs, and it all kind of like if you know Photoshop, then you know how to manipulate a lot of things in Adobe. But Microsoft has its own system, if you will, that across platforms. If you have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, the file, this, that, and the little icons, they're the same across all the suite, the Office suite. So when you know how to do one, you know how to do a lot of them. But Adobe and Microsoft are very different. Like they don't translate. If you're very used to drawing in Publisher or PowerPoint, and then you open up Adobe Photoshop, it's like alien. You don't know what I mean, they're just little icons that mean nothing unless you know what they mean. It's very difficult. Adobe can be really challenging for somebody like me who's an Office, Windows Office. So yeah, Publisher's going away.
Oh.
Microsoft Publisher this year.
Oh, so it looks like Adobe heard the cries of.
I'll have to kind of check in on that because I know they were going to continue if they had it on like a big corporate, like Adobe Animate is used for like a lot of like they use it to animate Teen Titans Go and big episodes like that. But I'll check into that. I'll double check before I.
But yeah, Microsoft Publisher though, that is going away this year. So
wow, that's been around since time began.
And that's a big one too, because that's what I do: posters and print media. I do a lot of print media in Publisher. So I'm going to have to use Word, which is crap for print media. Anyway, I digress. You guys have a great night.
Yeah.
You're leaving too, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to split myself because I do have to do a couple of things, but it's all been fun, guys. So I'll definitely.
Yeah, if we got just a few more minutes, because there's one thing that we didn't really discuss about it, which I'm surprised I had brought
up. Bear
with
us, guys, before we call it quits and stuff and everything else. And then we all gonna have to go and stuff. But give Dave just a few minutes.
Yeah, just the situation, the backstory with Jaden and how his brother died, and we kind of touched base on that a little bit. But when Jaden went out with his father and he couldn't kill that bird, when he ended up sharing that story with Laura, and that was the other thing, the fact that the whole basis of this episode was the fact that his parents disappeared. And say the ship that they were on with all the other houses, it disappeared. They don't know what's going on, which kind of built the base on this episode altogether. So what are the Klingons going to do with all these houses gone? But Jaden kind of was like wrote them off, and he hasn't talked to his parents since they left him alone on that planet. But when he was resharing that story with Laura, he's thinking, like, what if he was letting you go when Klingons do not miss, and say this was your father's way of letting you go, letting you find your own path. And I just thought that she is a wise and talented individual. I just thought
he looks more Jim'Hadar than Klingon, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
But still, she's still, after 4 episodes, she is still my favorite character of the new series. So I love me some Laura.
I still love Tig. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
she is.
yeah.
And let me tell you,
And she had lured an item apparently, from what it sounds like. And
yeah, and you know what? Let me, first of all, real world, gays and lesbians mix like oil and water, right? We might be in the same word alphabet, but we're not like friends. And so, I'm not a huge fan of like Ellen or other lesbians out there, but there's something about Tig, besides the fact that she looks like Brad Pitt. There's there's things about her that
okay,
she's just, uh, um, you know, uh, she's just funny, and she's deadpan about her humor, which is even funnier to me. I mean, it's almost British. Oh, and by the way, the I forget the Klingon Jem'Hadar, what's her name?
Laura Thawk.
Yeah,
Laura
she
Thawk.
is British. She is British.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I watched her on an interview, and she talks with a British accent. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I thought you were American.
Yeah.
So she does an American accent for the show, but she's
Well, there's
British.
just a hint of
It's
British
just
in there
like, yeah,
still.
yeah.
Oh, there's no hint when you see her without the makeup.
Oh yeah, but no, I'd say with the makeup and stuff, I'm sure the prosthetic teeth might have something to do with it, how she sounds. But yeah,
Real, real quick,
just the way.
real quick before we wrap this up and everything else, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show and everything else. A certain platform turned 22 today. It's been 22 years that it was launched, and it's something that a lot of people hate, but we still have. It's
Facebook?
called Facebook. Yes, Facebook
Was
is
it
22 today.
today?
Yes.
Today
20?
is Facebook's
And
22.
it was 2007 that Facebook overtook MySpace for the number one spot. It was
Yeah,
2007. And in
yeah.
2008, Facebook was just exponentially going up. And there's a huge story behind MySpace, and it just started tanking. Even though MySpace
Yeah,
was, prior to 2007, the more popular platform.
that's
But
Phil.
anyway,
Guys, I love you all. Thank you for stopping by, Phil,
Yeah.
Tyson, especially Jim, Dylan, everybody in chat. Thank you for just chatting with us and all and everything else. I knew you guys have to go and all and everything else. Phil said he's going to be on, guys. If you want to check out
About half
Phil,
an hour or
he's
so. Yeah.
about a
Yeah,
half
it's
hour or
safe.
so. So give him a check out, Dave.
Yeah, but yeah, say if you're new, thanks for watching. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button below. Then that way we're here every Wednesday now at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern. Say, but next week we are going to keep on talking. And say we kind of touched about it a little bit, but what the heck happened to Cisco? Say so, Sam, the series Acclamation Mill. I would say I'm not entirely sure the story on, because I mean she's a new hologram. She's only a couple of weeks old. But she is just way, of course, she's new, so she's just everything's just yay. Um, but yeah, so she's looks like she's going to take on a project to see what the heck
Hmm.
happened to Cisco after at the
Interesting.
end of What You Leave Behind. So are we going to
He retired.
see?
He retired.
But
He
I Will Wheaton did a damn good job of keeping his mouth shut on the Ready Room that he was going to be on season 2 of Picard.
Right.
So will we see Avery Brooks? Find out next week. Well, actually, not find out next week. Find
Yeah.
out in a couple of hours when it airs. But we'll be here
Oh
next
That's
yeah.
week to
right.
discuss it.
It's
We'll be
different.
talking about tomorrow's show next week and stuff and everything. So
Yes.
come back and
So
see
we
us,
get.
guys. Tyson, come back and see us whenever you can. Phil, you always
with the
welcome.
construction, I will try. All right, bye,
Well, I'll
guys.
say, but yeah, it's like worst case, be here for episode 100 on the 25th.
Oh yeah,
I will
definitely.
definitely do that.
But
Baking a cake.
Take care,
everybody,
guys.
Bye.
Good
Halo
night.
frequencies are closed.
I'm